Good morning, entrepreneurs. Today's lecture is about tax audit. It's very scary, but if you listen to these lectures, you can get ready for it. My first lecture about the tax audit is Japanese tax agencies. You have to, understand who are you fighting with. Before getting into the detail, I want to explain you that there is two types of the tax in Japan. The one is national tax, the other is local tax. National tax is paid for the Japan country, and it includes, for example, corporate income tax, individual tax, and inheritance tax, and stamp duties, and withholding tax and consumption tax. And local tax is you pay for the local government, like a prefecture or cities. So local tax include enterprise tax, inhabitant tax, and fixed asset tax, and real estate acquisition tax. For the national taxes, these are the organizations that it's managing the national tax, and they are doing the tax audit. The top of the organization is Ministry of Finance. They are making the tax law, and below the Ministry of the Finance there are like a national tax agency. It's called NTA. Their main job is giving the instruction to the local tax office, like how they should do the taxations, or sometimes they negotiate with the other country's tax agent about the tax. Then next one is regional tax bureau. There is 12 regional tax bureaus, and at the bottom there's tax office. There are like 524 tax office in Japan. And basically those Ministry of the Finance and the National Tax Agency, they are not really doing the tax audit, so you do not have to care about it. But the regional taxation bureaus, they are doing the tax audit mainly for the big companies. Like for example, the capital amount is like more than 100 million Japanese yen, and the tax office is taking care of the small and medium-sized companies and individual business owners or like salaried employees. So basically, if you start a business in Japan, that tax auditor will come from the tax office if you are like a starting up company. So I want to explain you about what the tax office, the organization of the tax office. There are like 5 departments in the tax office. General Affairs Department, they are like doing like internal management in the tax office, so you will not have a chance to talk with them. And maybe tax office will come from like these 3 tax auditor will come from these 3 department: corporate tax department, and individual tax department, and property tax department. Property tax means like inheritance tax or gift tax. And the last one is administrative operation department. They are checking like who paid tax already, who didn't pay the tax already. Sometimes they process a refund for you, so you may have a chance to talk with them, but they're not coming to the tax audit. The next one is I want to talk about the local tax. Local tax is, there's the 2 types of the local tax. There's 2 types of the local tax office. One is prefectural tax office. It's like a tax office for the prefectures. There are like 45 prefectures in Japan, so there is like 45 prefectural tax office in Japan. They are managing, they are handling like enterprise tax, like and for corporate and individual, and large scale business tax, and like inhabitant tax for the corporate. And they sometimes come to the tax audit, but it's not often, and their tax audit is not strict. And the next one is city government. Like there's really a lot of the cities and in like many in all places, and they are like taking care of the inhabitant tax for the individual and the inhabitant tax for the corporate, and the fixed asset, depreciable asset tax, and I want to emphasize that inhabitant tax for the individual, inhabitant tax for the individual is calculated based on the previous year's the incomes. So, the inhabitant tax of 2006 is calculated based on the based on your income of 2008 2015. So what's happened here is if you quit the companies, your income was high last year, but you have no income this year, but you still have to pay the like a lot of the taxes based on the previous year's income. So when I left my company, the previous companies, I was really surprised because I received like the payment slip for like 400,000 Japanese yen. So, but I have to pay it. The other things I want to notice is inhabitant tax for the corporate. This one is calculated based on the current year's corporate, income tax. So it's different from the inhabitant tax for the individual. The other things is the fixed asset tax. So there's no really tax audit for these taxes. But when you purchase the property, like when I bought my home, the person came from the cities and checked and about my home and decided how much fixed asset tax I have to pay it. But basically that's all. It's not a tax audit. I want to talk about one more things, and if you don't pay the inhabitant tax for the individual, when you don't have money, they will collect automatically from your bank account. So you can't escape from that. Let's go to the next. The last one is if when we're talking about Tokyo Special District, there's a 23 special district in Japan, like Minatoku or Shinjuku or Shibuya. Like in those areas, the prefectures and the cities are combined together to the ward office. So the ward office is managing the all local tax. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. I'm giving you the useful information about the business in Japan. If you don't want to miss it, please subscribe this channel. See you next time.